Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 2024 City Council meeting. Tonight's meeting is being held in City Council chambers, is being streamed live on City 12 TV, as well as on City Council's YouTube and Facebook pages. We also continue to post meeting information and materials on the city's website. The meeting will now come to order, and I ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Present, ma'am.
Councilmember Lupien.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Monroe.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Vice President Harris.
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask for a moment of silence for all the victims of gun violence in our community. And during the holiday season, remember those who have lost in the last year. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Councilmember Patterson, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'd like to invite my colleagues to the podium for tonight's recognitions. Elisa Sabrani, would you please join us in the front of the dais? So tonight we are celebrating two very special individuals who have worked a long career in the city of Rochester and that are both retiring from the city of Rochester. And Elisa began her career with the city of Rochester in 1981. After working in the Rochester Police Department, Elisa transferred to the Department of Finance, Purchasing Bureau, Duplicating Center, and Elisa succeeded her mother, Mary Ann Subrani, in this position. Mary Ann Solito, sorry about that. Over Elisa's 43-year tenure, she has consistently demonstrated dedication, commitment, and service to every city department, whether it be responding to last-minute requests or working late into the night. Elisa has always gone above and beyond to accomplish her tasks and provide unparalleled customer service. Some of Elisa's work include printing an annual budget book, comprehensive financial report, and tax bills. The City of Rochester would like to thank you for your unfettered commitment to service during the 43 years of your career, and we wish you all the best in your retirement. Would you like to say a few quick words? You want to say it? All right. All right.
You guys, it's been an honor, pleasure, continue to help you guys in any way, part time, whatever. You gotta pull me back.
Andrew Goodrum, can you please join us in the front of the dais here? So Andrew Goody Goodrum began his career with the City of Rochester in the Department of Recreation and Human Services 26 years ago. From his early days at the Adams Street Art Center, doing Billy Blank's Taekwondo classes, to apply to be the American Ninja Warrior while at Thomas P. Ryan Art Center, to helping individuals in the weight room at Gant. Goody has coached and mentored individuals young and old at every turn. Goody has been able to work with some of our young athletes to give them knowledge and skills to become great athletes. This love carried all the way through this last summer, where Goody was the lead staff for the Adams Street Track Club. This was an incredible way to complete his final summer with the Recreation Department. Goody has been a major mentor, a friend, and a source of unwavering support for so many youth and adults alike across the city. His positive energy and infectious enthusiasm have made a difference in the lives of many Rochesterians. We wish you all the best, and thank you in retirement. Next, we have the approval of the minutes by Councilmember Martin.
Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting on October 22nd, 2024, and the special meeting on November 7th, 2024, be approved as published in the official sheets of the proceedings.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
The following documents are hereby directed to be received and filed. The council submits disclosure of interest forms from Vice President Harris and Councilmember Lupien on introductory number 446.
Thank you. These documents will be received and filed. It is time for the presentation and reference of petitions and any other communications. Are there any petitions?
Were the petitions that we all got around Good Cause, were they officially introduced?
I do not know that they're...
Clerk Washington, they were not?
As far as I know, I haven't seen them.
Okay.
But
Well, maybe just to
do you
reference,
recall when?
we got a big, thick packet of signatures for Good Cause sent to council, but I guess it wasn't officially introduced.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. All right. So there are no petitions. We'll move on to the introduction of and action upon local laws, ordinances, and resolutions. There are two statements of necessity before us. Earlier this month, I submitted a statement of necessity, introductory number 453, a resolution establishing the schedule for the regular council meetings in 2025. Per the City Council rules, the council may vote upon a resolution without reference to or discharge from a standing committee if it is accompanied by a statement of necessity of immediate passage signed by the council president. I'll now take a motion and a second to consider introductory number 453.
Move it.
It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion on the item?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
I have a question for Patrick, our corporation counsel. What's the timeline for introducing a statement of necessity? Can it be introduced on the day of something? Like how long, like what's the timeline generally? Just curious procedurally.
For a resolution, it can be introduced that day.
It could be introduced on the same day? Okay, thank you. I will be, my question was unrelated to my decision, but I will be voting no on this resolution. As usual, when it comes to the processes for council, not all of us are included, and I don't agree with how the calendar was created and decided. I wish there was more room for input as it affects all of us, so for that reason, I'll be voting no.
Any other discussion on the item? Hearing none. Let's see. So we'll move to adopting introductory number 453. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
So motion carries. Earlier this month, I submitted another statement of necessity, introductory number 454, an appointment to the Action for a Better Community Board. Per the City Council rules, the council may vote upon a resolution without reference to or discharge from a standing committee if it is accompanied by a statement of necessity of immediate passage signed by the council president. I will now take a motion and a second to consider introductory number 454.
Move it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilmember Martin.
I think very highly of your appointee, Ms. Davis. I think she's going to do an amazing job representing the city, so I'm excited.
Echo that sentiment. Any other discussion? All right, so we'll vote on adopting introductory number 454. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chairperson Patterson, the Neighborhood Jobs and Housing Committee report, please.
Thank you. To the council, the Neighborhood Jobs and Housing Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 422, amending ordinance number 2024-318 relating to an agreement for the Emergency Solutions Grant Program. Introductory number 423, authorizing the sale of real estate appropriations, loan agreement, and payment in lieu of taxes agreement for the Beechwood Family Apartments Affordable Housing Project. Introductory number 445, amending ordinance number 2024-323 relating to appropriations and agreements for street liaison services. This report is respectfully submitted by council members Mitch Gruber, Kimberly Smith, Vice President Lachey D. Harris, President Miguel A. Melendez Jr., and myself, Michael A. Patterson.
Thank you, Chairperson Patterson. The report will be received, filed, and published when we proceed with the vote. Introductory number 422, amending ordinance number 2024-318 relating to an agreement for the Emergency Solutions Grant Program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 423, authorizing the sale of real estate, appropriations, loan agreement, and a payment in lieu of taxes agreement for the Beechwood Families Apartment Affordable Housing Project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 445, amending ordinance number 2024-323 relating to appropriations and agreements for street liaison services. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Vice President Harris, the Parks Public Works Committee report, please.
Thank you, President Melendez. To the council.
Actually, were we going to make a motion to discharge good cause from committee?
I would second.
I'll second that.
All right, so there's a motion and a second related to good cause, which is introductory number 251. And we will go down the so on that, is all in favor of discharging? Actually, we'll go down the line, roll call vote.
Councilmember Group.
Actually, before we vote, I think we need some discussion on this item. I know that President Melendez, you released a statement today disclosing a timeline for December to vote on good cause at our December meeting. And we had some discussion back and forth, so I understand kind of where you were coming from on that. However, since our last council meeting, nearly 100 families have had an eviction enforced. Being that Thanksgiving is Thursday, Christmas is next month, my fear is that if we wait on passing this, we may have 100 more families that have an eviction enforced over the holidays. And I know that some of the sticking point is around the accompanying legislation that would redefine nuisance and some other items in the charter, as well as set forth a committee to evaluate and oversee the implementation of it, which I support. However, I'm asking this body to trust that those pieces of legislation are going to come next month, that they, even if we pass them today, it would not have a substantive impact on implementing good cause. These are items that would be kind of in the future to evaluate and oversee the implementation. So I'm asking this body to consider passing good cause tonight, and then we would vote on the package that you're going to put forward, President Melendez, in December.
Any further discussion?
For clarification, the vote is to discharge it from committee?
That's where we are at this point.
Before, so a lot has changed on the floor in this moment, and I'm going to ask the president if he'll consider a recess. I know this is a big deal. It's important to our community. If there's any chance, we could just pause for a second, have a conversation as a body, if you would consider that, President Melendez. I know a few of us would like to just pause and have a conversation with you and make this decision collectively.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Councilmember Patterson.
Well, I think the time for that conversation was all of the days that we've had prior to today and prior to asking to call for a vote to pull it out of committee. So the question is, are we going to vote to pull it out of committee? Let's just vote on whether we will or we won't, and then we can go forward from there.
Councilmember Patterson, I think that there may be some trauma based on your question. I don't think you get to define whether or not there's trauma.
No.
Let me finish my sentence.
President, can you
I'm not
please
saying, no, I'm just
make
saying,
the decision
yeah,
on whether or
but
not we are
we're gonna
going to
vote.
have a recess?
Right. And so, and I would just like to say that things have changed tonight, and conversations have been had all throughout.
Can we just let the president make the decision on whether or not to have the recess?
Well, wait. The question, you called for a vote, a roll call vote, on whether or not we would pull the item out of committee. So that's the action on the floor. The action on the floor is, are we having a roll call vote? And that's what we're supposed to be doing next.
So is there any other comments before I answer any other questions? Any other comments?
No, my comment would simply be that I am in favor of us after, because unless it's removed, the motion, I would say that after the motion that we definitely have a quick recess to have a discussion. This is very, very important. This is very serious and very important stuff. And we have a responsibility to do what is right. And there has been some changes. Things do change. That's life. But let's do what's right here. That's all. Let's take some moments, call the vote, unless the vote is removed from the motion, and let's have the vote. And then after the vote, let's have a quick conversation and come back out and do the people's business.
Just just quickly,
Okay.
I defer to council on the order that you take these votes. But as far as the recess goes, if you're going to discuss substantive matters about the legislation, this is an open meeting. It's got to be done in public unless there's a reason to go into executive session.
Right.
Well, then I would say that would you be willing to, at the respect of Mr. President, just as an offer to come and hear part of the conversation and see if that's something that we need to move an executive session in?
I'm happy to hear, to consider what the topic of the conversation will be, and whether there's a basis for executive session or to caucus, which could also be done outside of the presence of the public.
I think I know what the conversation's going to be. Mike, we want to know if you're going to vote yes at a committee so that you can potentially vote it down,
Well,
like you did
well,
2 years
well, why
ago,
don't we just
and
let-
whether or
Hang
not,
on, we're
and
not
whether
gonna,
or
we're
not
not going to
President.
argue.
Can
about
we
it.
Whether or
not
not-
go there in this
I'm
moment
sorry.
and just make the
No, no, no.
decision on
I-
what our next step is?
I would like to finish. I would like to finish. Because I'm speaking for myself, for no one else. That's my worry. That's why I would consider going into executive session, because we don't want to lose this fight because of what happened last time. And I think what we all really want to know is, President Melendez, would you support this if we had the votes? Which it looks like we do.
So I'll
'Cause
answer
if we
the
vote
question
this out
now.
of committee,
I'll answer the question.
Okay.
So at this point in time, there's two things to consider. Number one, if we were to vote this out now, we do not have an amendment in front of us, and I think that's another consideration that we need to make tonight. And I'm prepared, as I've said already today, and I understand that the urgency, and I appreciate the advocacy, but that we're 3 short weeks away from consideration of this, and I do want to have the opportunity to go through the cycle to consider all of it together, and that is my position. And if we can also now, I think at this point, if we're going to vote on it, then let's vote on what's before us.
so I can still withdraw the motion, right?
You can withdraw it after it's been made and seconded, but not once it's been put to a vote.
Okay, so we have not voted on it yet. So I would like to continue the conversation to really understand how to move forward. Because now it's my choice whether or not I withdraw the motion, right?
So once, I should be clear, once the chair puts it to a vote, so after discussion's been had and the chair puts it to a vote, that's when it can no longer be withdrawn. I don't
I did not put it to a vote yet.
No, we have not. So I understand that we do not have an amendment in front of us. However, that amendment is crossing out one number and changing it to another number.
It's actually the definitions as well, as part of the amendment.
To the state legislation?
Yes.
I was under the impression.
So
Hold on, please, because we want to be able to hear each other.
Corporation Counsel, would you weigh in on that part of it?
So the way we're opting into the state legislation is by passing a local law that opts in. That local law will change the number of units in the definition of small landlord. And will also include the terms that we're choosing to define locally, or at least to provide partial definitions, which is definition of a nuisance and definition of the phrase withdrawal or removal from the
Is
market.
that a separate local law or the same?
Same local law.
Okay.
Can I? So,
Councilmember Martin, yep.
thank you. So in the report that our staff did an incredible job on compiling and putting out, nowhere in the recommendations was the definitions piece mentioned. If there is interest in changing the definition and the body wants to do that, I think that's worth considering. However, we can just change the number and the definitions can be changed at a later date, right? The definitions can be changed in December. We can re-amend the charter.
Council could amend the local law in the future, yes.
Thank you.
And I understand the desire for efficiency in doing something all at once, but when the stakes are this high and we have the data that shows we had 211 families that were evicted in October, and now it's 308. And I think it's worth making a second amendment to the local law next month.
So
Councilmember Gruber.
Yeah, I'll just share to my colleagues that I am prepared to vote for the strongest form of good cause once it is married with the resolutions that came in the president's report and the amendments, including the definition. So that is what the president had laid out. The president had laid it out with a clear report, with a clear memo today to everyone about the timeline. I'm certainly prepared to vote that way in December. I'm not prepared to do it without the adjacent resolutions.
Councilmember Gruber, can I ask you, knowing, can I please? We need to take the time tonight. This is an important discussion. So, I'll wait.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please allow us to have a discussion.
Thank you. Knowing that President Melendez is a man of his word and that he will introduce these items next month, assuming.
They're in the packet
What-
today.
What's that?
They're in the packet today.
Yeah, so they have been introduced, right? The referral day was today for December. These items have been introduced. What is your reservation in not voting on good cause separately tonight?
I can't speak for President Melendez. I can tell you that I'm a man of my word, and what I said is that I would support the strongest form of good cause if it's married with these adjoining resolutions. I want them to be voted on as a package. That is how I'm going to vote. If there's other people who want to vote otherwise, by all means. That is what I've said. That is what I'll do. And I'm not going to be pushed otherwise. Also, I want to be clear that even if we pass this tonight, good cause does not go into effect tomorrow. That's not the way it works. There's a significant amount of time, and Corporation Counsel can explain what the time lag would be. This does not go into effect tomorrow or the day after a vote is passed.
So the effective date for using the defense in court would not be when we passed it locally?
So the effective date for any local law is when the local law is filed with the Secretary of State. So the local law that's passed tonight, if it were passed tonight, would have to be certified by the clerk, get to the law department would send it to Secretary of State, it would be filed. That takes usually a minimum of a week. And there has to be.
We really need to be able to have this conversation. I understand the importance of this. This is life or death for some people.
So, Corporation Counsel.
Mayor's correct. There's also, for local law passage, there's also a mayor's public hearing that happens before the mayor signs off on the law. Then it gets filed, and with the holidays. So it's not overnight. It takes a little time for the administrative pieces to fall into place.
I appreciate that. And I do want to apologize for my tone. I am a teacher, and I'm giving teacher vibes right now. So I don't mean to silence you all. I'm just really interested in having this conversation.
My hand is.
Councilmember Martin.
So just to clarify, you said it will take, if it's passed today, it will take around a week to get it certified, sent to the state, all of that.
At least a week, I would say.
At least a week, right? So, and once it's passed, folks, within that week, so in a week from today, around a week from today, people who are facing no cause evictions would have a defense versus waiting till December. And again, I don't believe you, Mr. President, when you say December, and I can only come to that conclusion because you told me November. You
Councilmember Martin.
November.
Councilmember Martin.
So we have
the room. Hang on, one second, Councilmember. I'd like to.
I wasn't done.
All right, go ahead.
I know it's passionate. So just based on those factors, it is the holidays. We have the potential to save families and keep them in their homes during Christmas. That's very significant during New Year's. And we have, I know you want to do this, Mr. President, and we could have 5 votes today if you decided to pass good cause in line with the community, and the amendments could come later. So turn it over back to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, a lot has developed in the last 24 hours or so, as most council members are aware, and that I've had discussions. I've called or emailed or met with pretty much everyone up here. So at this point, you know, the motion to discharge is not a debatable thing. So I think we either need to decide if we're going to discharge or not. And if we want to, if we don't want to discharge, then at that point, then we will certainly take this up in the month of December. So with that, we'll do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber.
President, did you really just take away my chance to withdraw the motion?
Oh, excuse me.
Please.
This is just holding the item. Is that correct? Withdrawing it from committee?
I don't trust Mike to not vote it out, to vote it down.
Understood.
So the motion that's in front of us is to discharge. technically by asking for a roll call vote, I think you have put it to a vote. So if you want to withdraw that, she
I can withdraw
the
that.
motion. Okay.
So the
So
question,
The motion's still on the floor. It's been seconded. So in order for me to know how to vote on discharging, I need to know, I think we need a little bit more conversation. So President Melendez, if it came to a vote tonight, how would you vote? If it got discharged from committee and it was before us, would we vote it down and then lose the opportunity to bring it back up next
Council,
month?
but I don't believe this is a debatable motion. I don't think a motion to discharge is debatable. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain under Robert's rules it is not. And I look to the Corporation Council.
Why?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, for folks that are in the audience tonight, I just want to say to you that, and to everyone in, up at the dais and in the community, that I've spent a significant amount of energy on this and produced a report, produced results, and at this point, all right, so you're going to withdraw the motion or not? That's where we are. Yes or no?
All right. So I think the reality is I don't have a written amendment in front of me, and the rules say that we have to distribute the amendment prior to. And unless our staff is willing to go print out a copy of the legislation so I can cross out a number and write in a different one, I'm not seeing a path forward.
So
Sorry.
The question is the withdrawal happening or not?
I guess that was not in the form of a question, but is that something that staff would be willing to do? And I would not be making this big of a deal if it wasn't very important.
Again, Councilmember, this is my feedback.
So I'm willing.
Chief of Staff, if you would.
If the motion were discharged and you sought an amendment, we'd be happy to provide whatever you needed.
Amazing. So if we discharge the motion, if 5 of us voted to discharge it and it came out of committee, staff would be willing to print the amendments, hand it to all of us, and we could pass the strongest version of good cause tonight.
Okay.
So there is a path forward.
All right.
It's up to you.
Well, I can't make a decision unless I have an understanding of where you'll be.
I've made clear my path, and I'm going to stick to the path that I laid out.
Well, I guess the path that you laid out disappears if you vote no tonight.
It does not disappear if we vote no.
Oh, because
tonight.
you can bring it back up.
This is just discharging.
No. If we discharge it and we have the votes, which we might, and we can amend it.
I'm going to stick to it. I laid out the path. You either agree to the path or not, and then we'll move forward. So that's where we are. So.
Councilmember. Okay.
So I think
I hear you.
I think it's
I don't
clear.
want to.
Just to summarize it, right? Just to summarize. So there are 4 people here today who are willing to pass the strongest version of good cause. And that's Councilmember Smith, Councilmember Lightfoot, Councilmember Lupien, and Councilmember Martin. We don't have a 5th vote today, so it doesn't look like it's going to happen today. But I want to thank the folks who were willing to pass good cause today, but we just don't have the 5th vote. We were hoping it would be Council President Melendez, but his decision is to stall till December.
No, my decision is to go through the process that I outlined already, just to be clear.
Okay.
And that's what I'm sticking to. And now, if you're going to withdraw the motion, now would be the time. Or else I'm putting it to a vote.
I think put it to a vote and see who votes no.
No, we're not going to do power struggles.
I understand.
There is too much at stake. Do what we need to do.
I hear
we
you.
will not risk this.
I withdraw the motion.
All right, thank you.
Just for clarification.
Yes, Councilmember Lightfoot.
Because I'm going to be very clear on this. I was on the fence and really not in favor of good cause for a while. I've had many conversations with many of you, And my understanding, and this is what I understood, and even to the point when we moved the meeting to this date, my understanding was we were going to be voting on good cause today. That was my understanding.
Yep.
That was my understanding. So, no, hold on. Please let me finish. So I want to say that because for the narrative of, oh, we're putting people on the spot or we're trying to change the game and all, that's a lie. Because the reality is, we all were told that. When we changed the date of the meeting, part of it was potentially because good cause would be coming forth today. Members wouldn't be here to support that. And so things changed. Maybe that stuff went to city email. I didn't check my city email today. I didn't get that memo on my Gmail, which I've asked people to send my staff important stuff to both emails so that I can get those. So I want to be very clear so no one sends a narrative out that somebody's grandstanding or doing some crazy stuff, because it's not about that. I literally prayed and came to my decision at the last minute, which is my right. This is still America. And so I changed my decision to vote for good cause. And I came in today prepared to do that. Okay? And so I shared that with the president. My understanding was we were going to be voting on good cause today. That was my understanding. And so that's what I came prepared to do. I just want to make my vote clear to this community and why I moved how I moved today, and no other fake narrative could be put upon me. You heard it out of my mouth of what I was prepared to do based on what I was told.
Thank you, Councilmember Lightfoot.
Council President.
The withdrawal of the motion has occurred. Is that correct? And to your point, Councilmember Lightfoot, I just want to say this much. Certainly, the last conversation I personally had with you was you were at a very definitive no, and I understand things change, and so with that understanding that there were some concerns about whether or not it would be able to move as a package. So with that being said, I'm going to move us on to the reports of standing committees for the Parks and Public Works Committee report. So we will we'll clear the room. We'll clear the room. All right, point of order. We're gonna take a brief recess. We'll take a brief recess. So we are going to get back to business here. And at this time, I would like to ask Vice President Harris for the People, Parks, and Public Works Committee report, please.
Thank you, President Melendez. To the council, the People, Parks, Public Works Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 424, authorizing the acquisition of easements for the Riverway Main Street to Andrew Street East project. Introductory number 425, authorizing a professional service agreement for the port terminal. Introductory number 426, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing to finance the cost of public safety building mechanical improvements. Introductory number 427, appropriating funds and authorizing an agreement for the public safety building mechanical improvements. Introductory number 428, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, to finance the cost of City Hall building A improvements. Introductory number 429, authorizing an intermissible agreement with Monroe County for commercial solid waste recycling and street sweeping. Introductory number 430, authorizing the bipartisan infrastructure law lead service line replacement project. Introductory number 431, a bond ordinance to the City of Rochester, New York for the bipartisan infrastructure law lead service line replacement project. Introductory number 432, authorizing an agreement relating to the program participant employment retention. Introductory number 433, authorizing a grant agreement and amending the 2024-25 budget for the Emotional Regulation and Social Excellence Program. Introductory number 434, authorizing a grant agreement and amending the 2024-25 budget for the Flower City AmeriCorps Program. Introductory number 435, authorizing agreements for the Flower City Public Health AmeriCorps Program. Introductory number 436, authorizing agreements for the Youth Empowerment Project and other youth development services. Introductory number 437, authorizing agreements for the My Brother's Keeper Youth. Introductory number 438, authorizing an agreement for the Youth Growth and Development Program. Introductory number 439, authorizing an agreement for the Rochester Peace Collective. Introductory number 440, authorizing an agreement for appropriation for a community messaging sign at engine number 5 Firehouse. Introductory number 446, authorizing an intermissible agreement for Rochester My Brother Keepers programming. Introductory number 447, appropriating American Rescue Plan Act funds, amending the 2024 budget and authorizing a written agreement for the Healthcare Workforce Resiliency Project. Introductory number 449, appropriating American Rescue Plan Act funds and amending the 2024 budget for the Young Adults Manufacturing Training Employment Program. Introductory number 451, authorizing the mandatory agreements for the Workforce Development Services. Introductory number 452, authorizing American Rescue Plan Act funds for the lead service line replacement project. And finally, introductory number 404, authorizing agreements related to the Rochester Police Collective Initiatives as amendment. This report is respectively submitted by Council Members Willie J. Lightfoot, Councilmember Mary Lupien, Councilmember Michael A. Patterson, Council President Miguel A. Melendez, and myself, Vice President Lachey D. Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Harris. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 424, authorizing the acquisition of easements for the Riverway Main to Andrews East project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 425, authorizing a professional services agreement for the Port Terminal Rooftop Unit Replacement Project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 426, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $918,000 bonds of said city to finance the cost of public safety building mechanical improvements. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber. Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes.
Councilmember Lupien.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin. Councilmember Monroe.
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith. Vice President Harris.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Introductory number 427, appropriating funds and authorizing an agreement for the public safety building mechanical improvements. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 428, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $661,000 bonds of said city to finance the cost of City Hall Building A, window, heat pump, and envelope improvements, phases 1B and 1C. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris, President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Introductory number 429, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement and with Monroe County for commercial solid waste, recycling, and street sweeping service. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 430, authorizing grant agreement and appropriation for the bipartisan infrastructure law lead service line replacement project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 431, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $14 million bonds of said city to finance a portion of the costs of the bipartisan infrastructure law lead service line replacement project. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Introductory number 432, authorizing agreement relating to program participant employment retention. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 433, authorizing a grant agreement and amending the 2024-25 budget for the Emotional Regulation and Social Excellence Program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 434, authorizing a grant agreement and an intermunicipal agreement for the Flower City AmeriCorps program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 435, authorizing a grant agreement and an intermunicipal agreement for the Flower City Public Health AmeriCorps program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 436, authorizing mandatory agreements relating to the Youth Empowerment Project and to other youth development services. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 437, authorizing mandatory agreements relating to My Brother's Keepers Youth Growth and Development Program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 438, authorizing a mandatory agreement for the Youth Growth and Development Program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 439, authorizing an agreement related to evaluation of the Rochester Peace Collective. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have a quick, was hoping to ask a question around the Peace Collective.
Yes, Councilmember Martin, sorry about that.
Thank you. So at the last meeting, Mayor Evans, you committed to having a session with council members, a work session where we were going to be able to ask questions about the Peace Collective. The meeting was scheduled, but we weren't able to discuss the Peace Collective. Could you share what changed? I know we had a sense of urgency wanting to get these funds out to our great community partners, but what happened there?
I wasn't in town, so I wasn't able to make the meeting. So I think that the next scheduled meeting that we have to talk about the Peace Collective, which is going to go for another 3 years, based upon the funding we have, we're looking to schedule something at the beginning of January.
So how about the?
If there's other individual questions that members may have, we can have meetings prior to that if people have. But in terms of we were going to do a whole work session around the Peace Collective as well as violence prevention, from what I understand.
It would be really helpful to get something done this year. I understand a lot of the procedures may have changed, and this is something we all support and want to see work, and we have been getting a lot of feedback from our community partners, but we want to understand the administration's position. So is it possible to try to get something done in December?
We could try, but I would need a commitment to make sure that we at least get 5 council members.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I will tell you that we've had several work sessions where I've had staff come and there's been 2 or 3 people. So I want to make sure that we have maximum participation. And if folks can commit to it, I will try to move things around to make sure that I'm there. And the reason why this one is hardest to schedule is because the staff doesn't do the Peace Collective one. I do it. So that's why this one is extremely hard to schedule, because this is my baby.
Yeah.
So I have to be there. So that's why this is kind of hard to schedule. But if I can get folks to commit, I'm willing to be there.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay, introductory number 440, authorizing an agreement and the appropriation to install a community messaging sign at the Engine 5 Firehouse located at 450 Lyle Avenue. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 446, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement for the Rochester My Brother's Keeper programming. There's 2 disclosures on this item. Vice President Harris and Councilmember Lupien are both employees of the district. They are only required to disclose that information and are able to participate in the discussion and the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 447, appropriating American Rescue Plan Act funds, amending the 2024-25 budget, and authorizing a mandatory agreement relating to the Healthcare Workforce Resiliency Project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 449, appropriating American Rescue Plan Act funds and amending the 2024-25 budget relating to the Youth Adults Manufacturing Training Employment Program. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 451, authorizing mandatory agreements relating to workforce development services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 452, appropriating American Rescue Plan Act funds for the 2023 3A lead service line replacement project. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 404, authorizing agreements relating to the Rochester Peace Collective Initiative as amended. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chairperson Gruber, the Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee report, please.
To the Council, the Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introduction number 441, a local law extending the residential commercial urban exemption program. Introduction number 442, authorizing an agreement with MVP Select Care Incorporated for health insurance administration services. And introductory number 448, appropriating American Rescue Plan Act funds related to fire specialty equipment. This report was respectfully submitted by Council members Bridget Monroe, Vice President Harris, President Melendez, Stanley Martin, and myself, Mitch Gruber.
Thank you, Chairperson Gruber. That report will be received, filed, and published. And now let's proceed with the vote. Introductory number 441, a local law extending the residential commercial urban exemption program. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber.
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot.
Yes.
Councilmember Lupien.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
No.
Councilmember Monroe.
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith. Vice President Harris.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Introductory number 442, authorizing an agreement with MVP Select Care, Inc. for health insurance administration services. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Introductory number 448, appropriating American Rescue Plan Act funds related to fire specialty equipment. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
I would like to make a motion to discharge number 322 from committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
So let's vote on discharging introductory number 322 from committee. And this
I'll
is
just-
a resolution concerning the disclosure of consultants' reports. All in favor of discharging the item from committee, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to amend introductory number 322. You all have the amendment on your desk. It's related to adding a definition of report. Clarity that this resolution will pertain to reports generated through a professional services agreement authorized by City Council, which means that if it's under 20,000, it will not pertain to that. And that the administration inform council of any reports that will not be made public within 6 months and provide a monthly report to Budget, Finance, and Governance Committee of upcoming reports.
Any discussion on the amendment?
Can
Is
I
there- is
can I
there
get
a
a second?
second?
Yeah. I need a second on the amendment.
Oh, second.
Okay.
It's been seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Councilmember Martin.
So I do appreciate the addition of the amendment and how it was done through collaborating with other council members. I do think this amendment makes it stronger, so this will have my full support.
Thank you.
So
Chair Gruber, did you have any questions or comments that you want to make on the item?
Nope, I'll be voting no. I wanted to have a discussion about it in the committee process. I thought there was ample time to have a presentation, some questions and answers. I completely understand your decision to bypass the committee process, so I'll be voting no as a result.
I did not bypass the committee process, Chair Gruber. You did when you held it without discussion.
Okay, I'm not having a debate. I didn't even ask to speak. I told you what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to do.
any other discussion? All right, so we'll vote on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Roll call vote, please.
Roll call.
Just for clarity, we are voting on amending the item, right?
We're
Correct.
voting on amending the item. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
So now we'll vote on introductory number 322 as amended. We'll do a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber,
Nope.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Absolutely.
Councilmember Monroe,
No.
Councilmember Patterson,
No.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes. Motion carries. So I'd like to make a motion to reconsider introductory number 411, authorizing an amendatory agreement for labor and employment law services. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, or concerns related to this introductory?
Yeah. What's going on?
So I'm making the motion to reconsider based on the fact that we started a process, that we have some services that are still required for that process that we started. And I think voting to, given that this is the end of that process, is what we were told last time we had the opportunity to vote on this, and one council member was missing, I would like to make the motion to reconsider for those reasons.
Okay, it sounds like you have some information maybe that the rest of us haven't gotten about the process and why we would need to finish it out with this particular firm instead of going with a firm that would represent the interests of the PAB workers.
There's no additional information other than we started a process, and at this point, I think I have my opinion is there's a fiduciary obligation to complete that process, and I feel like that is the motion on the floor. Any other discussion?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, if you don't mind.
Yes, Councilmember Lightfoot.
Thank you, sir. I just would like to reconsider. I'd like to visit the vote, the first considered vote. Can you just give me the tally of that vote? What was that vote, please? Because we're talking about reconsidering, so we considered something, right?
Yes.
What
So
did we consider, and what was that vote? For the record, I'd just like to know what that was, please, sir.
Yes, sir. So the original vote was 5 in the nay and 3 yes, and I voted in the nay, so I'm
So you
able
could bring
to
it back up.
reconsider.
I get it now.
Okay. Who were the 3 yeses?
I voted yes.
I don't recall if those who
Okay.
remember who.
It would have been Mitch, Bridget, and Mike.
Okay. And so you're voting, you're asking us now, sir, to reconsider introduction number 411.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I do have a question for Corporation Counsel. Are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
If we, which, I understand we're not going to have the votes to stop it again, but should we have been successful in voting down this item, what are the implications for how we move forward with the case?
Well, the firm that we hired has already put in work.
Is your Corporation Counsel?
It's on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hear you better now.
Okay,
sir.
great. The firm that we've hired has done a lot of the work already, and so I think we would have to kind of figure out what we do there as far as compensation goes. And the proceeding, even though all the briefing is done, we don't have a final decision. So I assume that will be a final decision. But if it's not, then we'll of course have to figure out what next steps may be.
Am I hearing you say that the lawyer has done work that they have not been paid for?
Correct.
Do we have an idea of how much that is?
It's approximately the amount we're asking for. It's maybe
Okay.
$10,000 less.
And in terms of going forward for work they have not done yet, is there work remaining?
We don't expect any. There were 2 hearings held, each of 3 days on separate issues.
Mm-hmm.
That was followed by final briefing. That briefing is concluded, so my understanding is that the hearing is done, the briefing is done, we're just waiting for a decision from PERB, and then we will be done altogether.
Thank you for that explanation. That is very helpful.
Any additional discussion on that?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
This is quite an expensive bill. Is it possible to share just a summary of what they've worked on or how they're billing? What tasks? I'm very curious to see how they got to that amount, because it's a huge amount of money that's being asked for what PAB workers would consider union busting.
Yeah, part of the reason that we came back again is because we didn't expect it to be this much, and we didn't expect there to be 2 separate hearings. So the lion's share of the billing is for 3 full day, 2 3-day hearings, full days each, right? So we've got their billable hours for that entire time, which adds up quickly. There was an effort to stipulate to certain facts, but between all the litigants, they weren't able to stipulate, so 2 hearings had to be held.
But maybe we could get the statement of charges, just to have an understanding.
I can share that. There's some attorney work product stuff, so it wouldn't be public, but I can share that with you confidentially.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I also think it is disappointing that the council president joined us in voting no. I saw a letter from the union thanking all the folks who voted no, assuming that they did so to support the interest of the PAB. So PAB workers who are aiming to unionize with Workers United. So I think it might be helpful to clarify that you voted down only to be able to bring it back up to reconsider and actually pay the lawyers. I think that is a clarification that I don't think was clear when you made that decision, but I think they deserve that respect and that clarification. The other thing I want to say is, at this point, with the amount of money we've spent, coming so close to having 5-row votes, I think signifies that we are in support of the PAB unionizing with Workers United, the union of their choice, and we don't want to continue spending money and litigating the issue. A lot of us would rather see this settled and them have the chance to unionize with whoever they choose. So as you make considerations in the future about how to spend on lawyer fees, I do think it's important to note that at this point, like, we are tired of spending this money on this union issue and we just want them to unionize.
Yes, Councilmember Patterson.
So, I will speak for myself. I am certainly in favor of the PAB workers unionizing with
whoever it is that the process says that they are legally entitled to unionize with. As a council, that is not our choice, but it is our duty and our responsibility to pay the bill for the legal services that have been provided. There's no way around that. That's our duty, that's our responsibility. So that's why I voted in favor of the item before, and that's why I'll be voting in favor of the item again. This is not I have no dog in the fight as to who represents the PAB workers. If they end up representing the organization that Councilmember Martin mentioned, that's fine. If they ended up being represented by someone else, that's fine. That is not for I or any council member to decide. And I would humbly submit to the community, and we are not making that decision. What we are doing and all we are voting on is paying a debt and obligation that we are required to pay regardless.
So at this time, I'm going to vote, ask us to bring this motion to a vote to reconsider introductory number 411, and we will do a roll call.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
My vote is yes, and I just want to point out, it's going to be practice now where I vote when I have to highlight when Councilmember Patterson and I agree on something. I do think we need to pay our debts.
We agree on 90% of things, but go ahead.
Councilmember Martin,
No, and I also want to clarify, I had my hand up, but I wasn't called on. I want to clarify that the city is making a choice. They are litigating, saying that that PAB should unionize with a different union than they're choosing, and we're paying for that service. The city has a position. It's not just, oh, we're just showing up, la la la, the court will decide. The city's arguing a very specific position, which is adverse to what the PAB workers are arguing. So I wanted to clarify that to the community. My vote is still no, in line with the PAB workers.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes,
Thank you.
the motion carries. Chairperson Lightfoot, the Public Safety Committee report, please.
To the council, the Public Safety Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introduction number 443, authorizing agreement for fiscal year 24 technology and equipment program. Introduction number 444, authorizing agreement for a 3-year strategic plan for the Police Accountability Board. Respectfully submitted by Councilmember Mitch Gruber, Mary Lupian, Stanley Martin, Bridget Monroe, Michael Patterson, Kim Smith, Vice President Harris, and President Miguel Melendez, and myself, Willie Joe Lightfoot.
Thank you, Chairperson Lightfoot. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 443, authorizing agreement for the fiscal year 24 technology and equipment grant program. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 444, authorizing agreement for a 3-year strategic plan for the Police Accountability Board. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Nay.
Any roll call? Oh, sorry. Councilmember Martin, and then we'll move to a roll call.
On introduction 443, I meant to vote no. Sorry.
So can we correct the record on that, or do we have to re-vote?
I know from
Corporation
experience we have
Council.
to revote.
Let's just call the item and revote.
All right, so
All right.
we're going to go back really quick to 443.
Could probably the cleanest way to do this would actually be for Councilmember Martin to move for reconsideration, and then we'll do the vote again that way, and she can change her vote. She was in the majority.
No, she was in the minority.
Oh, she was in the minority.
No, she voted in the majority.
Oh, she voted in the majority. Sorry about that. Yes. So, Councilmember Martin, if you'd like to.
What a day. I would like to move for reconsideration
On intro 443.
on intro 443.
All right. So we are reconsidering 443. All in favor of reconsidering 443, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh, was that seconded?
I second it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thanks. Yes, it was seconded by Councilmember Lightfoot, and I also am an aye. And now we'll vote again on introductory number 443. All in favor, please say aye.
Can we do a roll
Aye.
call?
Roll call. Thank you.
Councilmember Gruber,
Sure.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
No.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Introductory number 444, authorizing agreement for a 3-year strategic plan for the Police Accountability Board. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Lightfoot,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
No.
Councilmember Patterson, Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries.
Yeah, President Melendez, if I may, I have a question for RPD. So I want to say thank you. I'd asked for information regarding our ability to track race and other demographic information on traffic stops, as well as our progress meeting the Executive Order 203 recommendations, which is, if y'all remember, from 2020, then Governor Cuomo asked or mandated that we all do police take actions towards police reform. That's what EO 203 means. So yes, thank you for the information. And I see here that it's recommended that we do an upgrade of the state track system in order to be able to track that kind of demographic data. And so I wanted to understand if there is the possibility to track it now. Maybe it's not the most efficient way, but is that a possibility, or do we in fact have to wait for an upgrade of the system?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to ask that the chief put that in writing so we can make sure that it's all correct. Anything related to this, I want to make sure that it's in writing. And I don't know if anybody was prepared to talk about this tonight, but we can take that question and make sure we get it back to you so we can get it correct.
And maybe, and I know we talked about a work session. I'd really love to get a chance to talk to Nick Petiti.
Yeah, this has got to be in the work session because poor preparation leads to piss poor production. And if we say something here that's wrong, they'll be taken to the woodshed for it. So I want to make sure that it's in writing, at least, so we capture that question, we can get it. And then I would recommend that we schedule a work session ASAP around this, so that way we can.
Yeah, and I understand that. I do, however, think it's important for the public to know that we're taking this seriously, especially after the recent news report and taking into consideration what they did find in Buffalo when they started tracking it. So, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Martin, followed by Councilmember Patterson.
Awesome. So I have a question for, I think, Law and Human Resources about the residency requirements for the vet. Could you talk to me about whether it's possible to move that residency requirement to be able to attract a wider range of vets, as we are in a bit of a crisis without having a vet right now?
Again, HR was not prepared to answer that question, but I will say the vet thing was an internal administration decision that we've done a couple of months ago. We've waived the residency requirements.
Okay.
So
amazing.
Yeah, but again, I would just ask that if, Mr. President, if we have these type of questions so that way we can make sure we're prepared, it would be very helpful. Just because, I mean, I want to make sure we're precise in answering the questions, and if we're not prepared, then it makes us look like we don't know what we're doing. So if we know what questions are coming, we can be prepared.
Well, I did actually. I told staff to let RPD know that I would be asking this question tonight. So
no, it's fine. I mean, it's fine. But I'm just saying.
I tried.
I get it, but I just want to make sure that we're prepared.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Councilmember Patterson.
All right, so I'd just like to take a moment to commend past Commissioner Richard Perrin and Mr. Paul McFadden for the CDL program. They had 8 city residents successfully completed. The vast majority of them are Black and Hispanic. Look, folks, a lot of times we sit around here and talk about what government can't do. This is an instance where government did good. And I just want to thank that past commissioner. And I was also hoping, Mr. Mayor, if you could introduce us to the acting commissioner for DES so that we know who he is. We've seen him, but I don't know if we all know his name.
Very sharp guy, Mr. Capeltea Counsley. He's worked in budget. He's worked in DES. One of our sharpest employees here. He is filling in for DES, and you'll be seeing a lot more of him.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And one of the sharpest dressed, too.
That's
Wait
right.
a minute. Did you see what Patrick Beef is wearing today? Patrick Beef has a three-piece suit on. I mean, a double-breasted suit on.
It's not a competition. We all get along here.
Yeah. With that, I would like to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you enjoy time with your loved ones and family. And also that we will be taking up Good Cause in December. Thank you. Have a good night.